Hello students, welcome back to the channel. Today we will revise chapter 6, The Beginnings of Indian Civilization, through important questions and answers that are useful for exams. So get your notebook ready and let's start the revision. What does B.V. Lal say about the Harappan civilization? Answer. According to B.V. Lal, the Harappan civilization was the most ancient civilization of India and was remarkable in many ways. He states that it was a well-balanced society in which the differences between the rich and the poor were not glaring. The people lived peacefully and cooperated with one another. The society was based on mutual accommodation rather than exploitation. So, in exams, if asked about B.V. Lal's view, remember these points: well-balanced society, less inequality, and cooperation. Next question: what is a civilization? A civilization is an advanced stage of human society in which people live in cities and have a well-organized social, economic, and cultural life. What was the earliest civilization of the Indian subcontinent? The earliest civilization of the Indian subcontinent was the Indus Valley civilization. It is also known by other names such as the Harappan, Indus-Sarasvatī, or Sindhu-Sarasvatī civilization. What were the major achievements of the Indus Valley civilization? The major achievements of the Indus Valley civilization were planned cities, brick-built houses, efficient water management, agriculture, crafts, and trade. The Harappans built planned cities and their houses were made of bricks. They had an efficient water and drainage system with wells, bathrooms in houses, and underground drains. They practiced productive agriculture, growing wheat, barley, and other crops, and were the first in Eurasia to grow cotton. They developed various crafts such as bead making, pottery, and shell work. They carried out active trade within their civilization and with distant regions using land routes, rivers, and the sea. What are the main characteristics of a civilization? The main characteristics of a civilization are government and administration to manage a complex society and its activities. Urbanism, town planning, growth of cities, water management, and drainage systems. Variety of crafts, managing raw materials, that is stone, metal, and producing finished goods such as tools and ornaments. Trade, internal trade within cities or regions and external trade with distant regions. Writing, to keep records and communicate. Culture, ideas about life and the world expressed through art, architecture, literature, oral traditions, and social customs. Productive agriculture, enough to feed both villages and cities. Which characteristic of a civilization is the most fundamental and why? The most fundamental characteristic of a civilization is productive agriculture. Productive agriculture allows people to settle in one place instead of moving constantly. It provides enough food to support both villages and cities. Surplus food enables people to engage in other activities such as crafts, trade, administration, and cultural life. Therefore, productive agriculture forms the basis for the development of all other characteristics of a civilization. When and where did civilization begin? Civilization began at different times in different parts of the world. In Mesopotamia, that is modern Iraq and Syria, civilization began about 6,000 years ago. In ancient Egypt, civilization started a few centuries later. Where did civilization begin in the Indian subcontinent? In the Indian subcontinent, civilization began in the northwest region. This region later developed into the Indus Valley, that is Harappan civilization. Define a tributary with an example. A tributary is a river that flows into a larger river or a lake. Example, the Yamuna is a tributary of the Ganga. Why are the inhabitants of the Indus Valley civilization called Harappans today? Answer, the inhabitants of the Indus Valley civilization are called Harappans because the city of Harappa, today in Pakistan's Punjab, was the first site of this civilization to be excavated in 1920-21. Therefore, the civilization and its people came to be known as Harappan. What is meant by the first urbanization of India? The term first urbanization of India refers to the growth of villages into towns and cities in the Indus Valley region. This happened during the Harappan civilization around 3500 to 2600 BCE. It involved planned cities, trade, crafts, and organized society. Now we have a match the following. Match the important Harappan cities with their modern states or regions. So the answer is Harappa is in Punjab, Pakistan. Mohenjo-daro in Sindh, Pakistan. Dholavira, Gujarat, India. Kalibangan, Rajasthan, India. Rakigari in Haryana. Next question. Write a short note on the Saraswati River. Answer. The Saraswati River was an important river of the Harappan, that is Indus Valley civilization. Many Harappan sites were located along its banks. Today, the river is known as the Ghaggar in India and Hakra in Pakistan and is therefore called the Ghaggar-Hakra River. It is now a seasonal river flowing only during the rainy season. The Saraswati River is mentioned in the Rigveda, where it is worshipped both as a goddess and a river. How were the Harappan cities built? Answer. The larger Harappan cities were built according to precise plans. They had wide streets which were often oriented to the cardinal directions. Most cities seem to have been surrounded by fortifications. The cities had two distinct parts, the upper town and the lower town. The upper town was probably where the local elite lived, while the lower town was where common people lived. Define fortification. Answer. A fortification is a massive wall surrounding a settlement or city, generally for protective purposes. Define elite. Elite refers to the higher layers of society, such as rulers, officials, administrators, and often priests. Describe the houses in Harappan cities. The houses in Harappan cities were well planned. Individual houses of various sizes lined the streets and smaller lanes. The quality of construction was the same for both small and big houses. All the buildings were generally made of bricks. Write a short note on the Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. Answer. The Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro was a small but elaborate tank measuring about 12 into 7 meters. Built with carefully laid out bricks. Waterproofing materials such as natural bitumen were applied to the bricks. The tank was surrounded by small rooms, one of which contained a well, and there was a drain in one corner to empty and refill it with fresh water. Next question. What was the purpose of the Great Bath at Mohenjo-daro? Answer. Archaeologists have proposed several possible interpretations of the Great Bath. It could have been a public bath for people, a bath for the royal family only, or a tank used for religious rituals. The first interpretation is now ruled out because most houses in the city already had individual bathrooms. How did the Harappans manage water and cleanliness? The Harappans gave much importance to water management and cleanliness. They often had separate areas for bathing in their homes, which were connected to a large network of drains running below the streets to carry away wastewater. In Mohenjo-daro, people drew water from hundreds of wells made of bricks, while in other regions, water was obtained from ponds, nearby streams, or human-made reservoirs. At Dholavira, in the run of Kutch, Gujarat, the largest reservoir measured 73 meters in length, showing the Harappans' advanced planning for water supply and hygiene. What crops did the Harappans grow? Answer. Archaeological findings show that the Harappans grew cereals like barley and wheat, some millets, and sometimes rice, in addition to pulses and a variety of vegetables. Next question. What were the Harappan seals and how were they used? Answer. The Harappans used thousands of small seals to identify goods and traders. These seals were generally made of steatite, a soft stone that was hardened through heating. Most seals depict animal figures with a few signs of a writing system above them. Although the meaning of the signs and figures is not yet fully understood, it is certain that the seals were used in trade. Why is Lothal important in Harappan trade? Answer. Lothal, a small settlement in Gujarat, had a huge basin measuring 217 meters in length and 36 meters in width, which must have been a dockyard to receive and send boats for transportation of goods. Next question. What were the reasons for the decline of the Indus Valley civilization? Answer. Two main factors are currently agreed upon for the decline of the Indus Valley civilization. First, a climatic change from about 2200 BCE caused reduced rainfall and a drier phase, making agriculture more difficult and reducing the food supply to the cities. Second, the Sarasvatī river dried up in its central basin, which led to the abandonment of cities such as Kalibangan and Banavali. Next question. What evidence do cooking pots provide about the food habits of the Harappans? Scientific examinations of Harappan clay cooking pots have shown remains of dairy products as well as turmeric, ginger and banana. This evidence shows that the food habits of the Harappans were quite diverse. So with this question and answers, we have covered all the important topics from Chapter 6, The Beginnings of Indian Civilization. For one-word answers and MCQs, you can watch the MCQ revision video of this chapter. The link is given in the description box. Do check it out to complete your full chapter revision. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. We will see you again in our next video. Bye-bye.